So the next one, so we talk about OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, as one of those anxiety disorders that you can be diagnosed with. General anxiety disorder, which is just worrying about every single thing around. Then we have what's called a panic attack or a panic disorder. Anybody ever panic about something before? You can indicate by, just saying. And if you'd like to share what you panicked about at the time.
For me, exam results when I was younger.
Yes, made you panic. Anybody else? Because I will then tell you a story of a panic event that happened when I was younger. And while you think about your panic event, I'll tell you about mine. I remember when I was younger, my mom sent myself and my sister, many of you would probably know Sister Kalisha, right? And I was probably 10 and she was like 8. And I remember that we went somewhere, whether she sent us to get some from a neighbor to the shop. But I saw when we were coming back, and we grew, of course, in Jamaica, a herd of cows coming. And I tell you, I panic. I can still remember it, but I panic. I said, what are we going to do now? I look left, we can't do anything but pass the cows. And that was, my heart started beating, I start sweating, everything you can think of. I panicked. And one thing that I could think of doing, which I told my sister, we're going to hold hands and we're going to repeat this. Don't be afraid because the Lord is with you. And we said that, and there was a man leading the cows. And we went through that, but all in my mind, don't be afraid because the Lord is, and we repeated it and we passed those cows. And thank God nothing happened. But I panicked. I really did at the time. All right, it's going to cut off in a minute, but I'm going to, when we join back on, I will tell you, what a panic disorder is, or a panic attack. So this is where intense feeling of fear come upon you. And that is where persons with panic attacks that are diagnosed actually think they are going to die. The feeling is such that their hearts are literally jumping out of their chest. They are going to die. That's all the thought that's in their head. And and it's funny, because when you're treating these persons, you have to realistically get them to understand you're not going to die. You don't have an illness. Like, for example, you're not faced with something like a life-threatening event. So it's not realistic, but it's the way the mind has been set up. It's that they literally think that this is it. That's the end for them. So it's the fear of that fear, and it keeps on driving the same fear, no end in sight. Then we have another. So we did the OCD, generalized anxiety disorder. That's a GAD, panic attack. I'm going to talk about social phobia. That's another main anxiety disorder. And that has to do where you ever see some, children or students or classmates at school, or just some people in general that they don't socialize well. Any child who's very quiet, if there's a group over here, they're over there. So socially, they don't cling to the others. Anybody know somebody like that? Or even maybe you find that you have, I'm not diagnosing you now, but have you ever seen anyone like that? And you wonder, oh, they're so quiet, oh, they keep to themselves. So
yes, miss.
Yes, Diana, and you know someone?
No, Diana is antisocial.
No, I don't want you to lose that term loosely now, and your sister. But antisocial is actually, I will mix it up. It's actually something different. Antisocial is actually a dangerous term. You see, a lot of persons who are in the prison and who actually hurt people and do really bad things, they're the ones who's antisocial. Now, if you are, avoiding social interaction, that's more of being not antisocial again, because that talks about people who are violent. but maybe have a little bit of the social phobia. But again, I'm not diagnosing anyone, because remember, with all of these that I'm talking about, young people, you have to have it all the time. So look, Diana, hi Diana. Diana, show me her video. Diana is talking. Diana is not. She doesn't have social phobia. So stuff like that. Sometimes we use the terms loosely, but the real meaning of it is when you are this way all day, every day, nothing not changing it. All right. So those were the main ones. So let's talk a little bit about, the causes. Where does anxiety come from? Anybody have any thoughts where you think they might just come from? Right? I'll tell you, because we're moving on quickly. It can be hereditary. It can be from your family. Guess what? I grew up with my mom being very afraid of lizards. So guess what happened to me now? I learned it from her, right? So it's in her genes. It comes down to my genes. And I mean, most of us probably in Jamaica, especially the crowd lizard, we're afraid. And again, I'm not diagnosing myself, but just worry on a whole, anxiety can come from family members. So it's passed down. Other ways that it can happen, environment.
But
yes.
Kate, that's very interesting now, because I didn't know that something as anxiety can be hereditary.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes. Number one reason from family.
I wanted to understand what you mean by that. I don't know if you had explained it. Like it coming down from generation.
Yeah, from generation. So hereditary means, it's in the genes. It comes down, literally, you're just born with it. So a lot of times you might go to the doctor, and just like you hear about, like even today, I come to meet my mom to the doctor, and the doctor say, okay, do you have diabetes? It was running through some list of medical issues. And you know what's the follow-up question? Did your mother have it? Did your father have it?
Right.
Did your grandparent have it? So it's a family line. Just the same, if you're doing an assessment on somebody with a mental problem, so not the physical, but a mental problem like a depression. Diana mentioned that before. Depression, Diana, by the way, is a different thing. It's different from anxiety. That more have to do with when you're sad. But depression and anxiety can be closely linked. We're not going into that tonight. But, anxiety can be hereditary, whereas the genes is passed down from generation to generation. The next main way of getting an anxiety, it could be from it is from the environment. So if you're never born with it, you can pick it up from the environment. How can that happen? Is that your experiences? So I don't know, you guys are still young, but you could have gone through a traumatic event. And a traumatic event, is almost like a life-changing experience where something major happened. You could have been in a car accident. You could have, witnessed something that's very devastating. And guess what happened after that? You start becoming anxious. So that's another way of, anxiety forms. I want to hear from you first, and then I'll go to
You can talk to somebody about it.
Thank you, Nikita.
Go
Yes, Diana?
go to rehab.
Like a rehab, okay. Another place or another name for that is like
therapy.
Therapy, yes, I was gonna say that. So rehab is a place. Most persons think of rehab more physical, like if you have a broken arm or something, you go to rehab. But there are definitely rehabilitation places that deal with mental health. But it's more like a counseling session. So you seek the help of a therapist or a counselor. All right, a simple thing, boys and girls, young people, as deep breathing. So everybody with me on the count of 3, I want you, I can't see all your faces, but 1, 2, 3, take a deep breath. And then slowly let it out. We're gonna do it again, but I'm gonna hold up my 5 fingers. and you're going to take 5 seconds before you hold out the breath. So I want you to take a deep breath in. Blow it out now. If you do that, boys and girls, a couple of times, you have an anxious thought, you are feeling jittery, nervous because of an exam, something like that, you take a couple deep breaths. It will help to slow down the heart rate. It will help you to recenter yourself. And when I say recenter, is that you're going to stop thinking about the things that are making you anxious and replace them. So that's another tool. Replace them with some thoughts that are more positive. And I've put together, which I'm going to share my screen, and I think I have 5 Bible verses, because as Christians, and this is how we tie it into being children of God, we have a tool or many different tools biblically that can help us. One could be read, yes.
Yeah, when I have 2 questions, or 1 question and a statement. Anxiety have anything to do with low self-esteem?
When you have anxiety, it can go either way, because some of the causes from the environment could be something related to low self-esteem. For example, bullying, especially you young people are at an age where a lot of times you are bullied. Even today I had an incident with Neymar where he was being called a name at school, and that's a whole different story. And I had to talk to him about what words should do to you, can do to you, but you shouldn't let it overpower you. So back to the whole self-esteem issue. You can have these feelings, these low feelings about yourself. And because of that, it causes you to be anxious, as well as the other way around. You can be so anxious and be so aware that others are, looking at you because you're this, or you stay by yourself, or thing, and that automatically going to cause a low self-esteem. So it can go either way.
Okay, next thing now. What about exercise? Exercise can help you with your anxiety.
Exercise was another that I had on the list to go through. That's exercise, sports, those things. Because I didn't think about it. Maybe I know Jaden plays what we call soccer, but football, right? And he could before, say for example, a child who, well, again, children that I have worked with in the past that are anxious, one of the things I tell the parents, get them involved in sports, something that they find that they like. And this will take the attention from those feelings of anxiety and worry, and it will assist. I'm not saying it's going to recover and replace everything, but it will slowly help to build up that self-worth, build up that self-esteem, and will help them.
Thank
so
you.
Exercise is good. And actually exercise physically, there are things in our brain, the brain has so many different parts to it, but there's an important element that brings about positive feeling, that goodness. It's called dopamine. And when you have increased levels of this in the brain, it is also going to be helping with the anxious thoughts. And, how you get those feelings too is a part of exercising.
And
one way you can get those feelings.
Right. I'm glad you mentioned the brain.
Mm-hmm.
What about the mind? Because the mind is powerful,
Yes.
Yes, and our thoughts can also drive fear.
Yes.
So, as I said, they mentioned counseling. But what about we? Because you have to tell yourself, right? And one thing I try to do, you see when you have fear, I think the best thing is to attack it. Because say your fear crossing the road.
Yes.
But because of fear crossing the road, you will never cross the road. So you will continue to have that fear. But if you take that bold step, road 1 time, then 2 times, then 3 times, then eventually, what you do, you're removing fear. So sometimes I said, sometimes we have to attack our fears.
Yes.
Right? So once you attack it and you can get over it, you move to a different level now. So if you don't attack it, you will always have it in the back of your head. Say, boy, I'm afraid to cross the road. I'm afraid to do this, and you will never release
Get
that fear.
over it. True. Because in treatment too, when persons have especially OCD, one of the treatment is you put the person right into where what they fear. Like if somebody is fearful, and it really is a hard thing, because I never try to get to that place with my clients. You expose them, but it's a treatment where you put them right. Say, I'm afraid of lizard, you're going to put me in a room with all these lizards. But it's to prove that they are really not going to hurt you.
Right.
So, it's building slowly, chipping off the fears that you have by, they call it in vitro exposure. So they put you right into the feared stimulus, and you realize that it's really nothing to be afraid of.
What is the what?
In vivo.
Okay, exposure.
Yes. So meaning in live, in vivo exposure. Right. Another simple thing that we can do just for ourselves to deal with anxiety, indicate if you like listening to music. Raise your hand, or Diana, raise her hand up. All right. When you listen to music, what feeling comes? Like your favorite music, what thoughts do you have? Do you feel happy?
Yeah.
Do you feel relaxed? All of those feelings, you feel happy. Well, guess what? That's helping you. That is helping you, because you're replacing the worry with something else. So being active, playing sports, listening to music, meditating, deep breathing, like I said, remaining calm as possible. The thoughts that I'm going to fail this exam, we replace that with God is my help. God is my help. Like I tell you with the cows, don't be afraid because the Lord is with you. Don't be afraid because the Lord is with you. So that's what, I use. And I still use it as an adult today. I feel a little bit anxious about something, worried about something. I pray. I change my thoughts, and I try my very best. We can look at even examples in the Bible. Remember the story of the 3 Hebrew boys, right? Weren't they the ones that they threw into the fire?
Those 3.
Yes.
Right.
Remember Daniel in the lion's den, boys and girls? These are real people in the Bible. You can't imagine being a lion's den. You can't imagine that fear. But guess what?
Right.
But he did what he had to do. So sometimes, young people, we are faced with these circumstances, but know that you are not alone. And then I want to share some Bible verses. So I'm going to share my screen. And are you seeing my screen, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So here we have Jeremiah 17, verse 17. If you can read it together. Blessed is the man trusted in the Lord, and whose hope is in the Lord. Psalm 23, verse 4. Yea, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, you know this one, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Psalm 55, verse 22. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. I think I put in a double thing there. Isaiah 41, verse 10. I like this one. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee in the right hand of my righteousness. So just a few Bible verses, boys and girls, to help you along, to let you know that whenever fear comes upon you, just trample that fear with the word of God. It's not always easy. We are humans. Coronavirus is real. It's out there. It's enough to make us fearful. But every time you think of the fear, pray through it. Breathe through it. Talk to someone. somebody mentioned that it might be that you can't deal with it by yourself. Talk to your parents, talk to a trusted friend, talk to someone that can give you the right advice. Play through it, listen to music through it. All these things, being active will help you. And most importantly, as children of God, we just need to pray more and ask God to help us to deal with the fears that we are having, to help us through. Because you're not too young to develop these disorders, but that's why I want to encourage you from now that whenever fear come upon you, don't give in to the fear, because it can overpower you. The mind is very powerful. You see persons that are crazy on the street, young people, sometimes it's the simplest of things. Some of them take drugs, yes, but some of them is the simplest of things that let them be out there. The truth of the matter is sometimes you have to, if you're to that extent, like the patients that I told you I used to see, a lot of them had to take medication. So it can be to the point where you have to take medication to help to calm your heart rate down, calm the sweating of the palm, calm everything down, and then you can do these other things. But you don't have to get to that place. All right. So I hope that little talk or a longer talk was useful. But, I want to hear from you what you may have learned from, that little talk, and what is your takeaway. I want to hear from everybody, actually. Just tell me what is your takeaway from that, little talk I had with you.
When it comes to fear, most times it's your subconscious mind telling you that it's going to hurt you, but you just don't listen to it. Don't really pay it any mind. Just go and just know that nothing is going to happen to you.
If you have anxiety or those OCD and those other stuff, you can find ways to cope and to take your mind off of it and to help you.
You remember any one of those ways, Nikita? Very good.
Like talking to somebody.
Okay, thank you.
It was.
Go ahead.
It was a good presentation. Most of the stuff I kind of knew already because I get anxious a lot of times, and my motto is faith over fear. So that's something that I kind of used to remind myself every day.
Awesome. I like that. Faith over fear. Awesome.
Yes, love that one.
Thank you for sharing that with you. Anyone else? Good night, Sister Whitney. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, Winsome, I like what you said. And everybody, what they have said, I really commend you.
Yes.
Really happy for this topic.
Yes.
Let me tell you this topic. Because they are young.
Yes.
We don't want them to create a habit.
Not at all.
Culture that when they are 30, 40, they still don't even know how to deal with these issues.
That is it.
I'm happy that you mentioned it, and I'm going to ask it from time to time. I'm going to include you in the group so you can drop little things as guide to help them.
Yes.
Because if we can wipe out this as early as possible,
amen,
we a lot of positive changes that we are making in their life, and they can also help others. One more thing.
Yes, because I was going to say that, Brother Lane, not to cut you, but you may not, and that's why I say you might, if you notice a child who maybe not taught, they might be having the social anxiety. And what you can do is let them know that, pay a little extra attention, and not tell you, we can't save everybody. But sometimes, a lot of times these are the children that are bullied or that they're overlooked. But you with knowing that, I don't want to be involved in seeing this person 2, 3, 4, 5 years from this suffer like that and be that way for the rest. So you know what, if nobody wants to be their friend, I can say hello to them. I can give extra effort. I can even find out if there's something deeper that's affecting them. I may not be able to assist, but I can say, you know what, I think you should talk to the guidance counselor at school, you know what, I think you should tell your parent about that, something, because it's not always clear cut as we see it. And each person can reach another person. So you may not need this for yourself. I'm happy that, Ladira was able to be as open to say that she's anxious a lot. I am I won't tell you my age again, but I get anxious a lot too. But I always remember from a child, don't be afraid because the Lord is with me.
Yeah, and let me just finish up with what I was saying now. And I like what you said, Kate, yeah. But you see, in life, people, how you make that change and you make that bold step, it starts from you. Because if you can't admit that you have anxiety, then you can't fix it. Yeah. And everything in life. And it also chimed in last, what you just said, Katie, chimed in with the suicide.
Yeah.
Because we can help others when they are withdrawn. You see your friend withdrawn.
Yeah.
And you can save many lives. You can save your life, or you can save someone's life if we be our brothers and sisters keeper. Right. So back to that. But sometimes also they have to be careful who they see, because there's not somebody who is professional who can deal with it.
Yes.
You can even matter words. You can go to a friend, you can fight him, and then will tell everybody, say, she I get mad, them I get mad.
Yes.
So you have to be careful how you go about this thing. But then again, I say it start from you. And you have to make those steps. Because remember, you have to put in the work in everything in life. If you want changes, you can't just sit down and think it's going to happen like that. And the faith without work is nothing. If you have anxiety or mental issue or suicidal thoughts, you have to reach out to somebody, reach out to the Lord, reach out to somebody. So from they can take it from there and say, say I got you anxiety, make we help. I just said earlier, if you can't do it, then they will put them on to somebody else. But love the topic.
All right. So we're gonna start this. So thank you for, adding, and thank you for all that who shared. And I'm happy that, we have definitely had some takeaways from this. And again, just remember, there are many verses in the Bible that encourages us about not being fearful, but to put our trust in the Lord. 3, 2, 1. I think it's time. You choose the questions.
I'm out. I can't find myself. Oh. Something wrong.
I don't know what to tell you, Brother Lee. Are you doing it, Nikita?
What am I supposed to do?
Answer the question.
Oh. Yeah, right. Yeah, go, Lee, go.
Keep going. Who's in the lead? Go, Danielle. Go, Danielle. Go, Brother Lee. No, you might not. Go, Nikita.
David.
Come on, guys.
Something wrong. I'm not seeing the question. Something wrong.
All right, Nikita. I can't help you now. Go, Nikwana. See you getting Ledria. Go. Ledira, come up. Go. All right, Daniel, still in the lead. Good. All right, Ledria coming up. Win scores. Oh, Daniel's still in the lead. Come on, guys. All right, Nikita coming up. Second place now.
So I'm not getting nothing right. So I'm 4.
All right, Nikona, see you doing a thing. Ledira.